every time the camera's on, somebody thinks it's interesting. Otherwise, you would shut the camera off. So all the dailies were thought to be interesting at the moment. Okay, so I have 2.5 hours of dailies. So what's the scene about? I have to decide, otherwise, because everything's kind of interesting. So I have to know what I'm trying to make, and then I reach and get specific stuff. And this was going to be about what I said, you know, we don't waste time complimenting each other. How do we relate? So that's what I'm looking for. And it's a single camera in the room. So every cut that looks like a match action is not. You know, there's not two cameras. It's cut as if there were, because it just looks better. It's the way we're used to seeing in Hollywood. Camera here, cut to a close-up reaction shot. Guy starts talking, cut to in sync, you know. And but the only reason I could do it is because the camera person was a good shooter and walked around the people and gave me the material I needed to assemble what seems like, you know, a narrative-style film. Find some access point in the material and let the viewer in. It's easy to keep them at arm's length and say, isn't this weird, and isn't that weird, and isn't that curious, and isn't that awful, and aren't those guys bad, you know? Because, you know, I can just sit there and judge. But if you can open the door and let the people go in and kind of understand a little bit, I always think that's a more successful film. You know, the bad guys, yes, they're doing bad things, but why exactly are they doing that? Well, walk around them. Make them three-dimensional. Don't assume the people who are going to watch the film have completed the reading list. It's not a legal brief. You know, it's a film. You only get to see it once in real time. Lights go down, thing happens, it's over. If I didn't get it, I don't care if it was in there. It wasn't placed in a way that I could get it as a viewer. And you have to be acutely aware of those issues. The same scene, every time you go past it, you stop and you work on it. And you change it a little bit. And you flip that line with that line. Or you put in that cutaway. Or you make a space that's 3.5 seconds long, which makes the next line that's coming ring out a little stronger. And those are things you discover over time, you know. And when you put that cut scene into the middle of 5 other cut scenes, it takes on a different life, because they all affect. It's, you know, it's 90 minutes. It's a big arc. It's not this scene and that scene and that scene. You're building a really big tent when you're making a long-form documentary. So you have to pay attention and you have to keep stepping back. It's impossible to stay fresh to the material. They always say, stay fresh to the material. Try and stay fresh to the material. I know where everything is coming. You know, I know, because I put it there. So the best you can do on that front is to invite some strangers into the room with you, because somehow that turns on a switch that lets you see it through their eyes, and you can feel them being bored or restless or confused in the room. And, you know, usually after you have a screening, you know what you have to fix, because you're wishing you could go fast through this part, you know, but it's just laying up there. And you made it, so, you know, it's like, fix that.